G'day Bomber fans, we have a massive game coming up this weekend, Saturday afternoon over in Sydney. We have the Giants who are well and truly in a final scrap. They are a very good football side. At the moment, we struggle to beat very bad football sides. So this is a game we are easily underdogs for, but who doesn't love a good underdog story? It's a big preview coming up, but before we get into it, of course, we have some votes from our North victory to get through. So the votes are pretty similar. Martin and Parrish get the most love. Red Dog and Langford get a bit as well. Martin and Parrish were the clear standouts, so Martin got the most by a proper landslide. And here is the overall tally. Nick Martin moves up the rankings to grow closer to Kyle Langford in second. Parrish climbs a bit as well. No one is near Zach Merritt at the moment, though. He's up top. Still 2 games left, though. Anything could happen. So GWS, Greater Western Sydney, a team we have beaten once this year already, but they have improved a lot since. They are a good team. Don't let their last loss dampen your opinion on them. Up until that Port Adelaide loss, they were about the second or third most informed team in the competition. They had won 6 in a row up until the Battle of the Bridge against Sydney the week before. It's funny because despite us winning our last 2 and them losing their last 2, they are by far the better looking team. They are rarely out of the contest. That Port Adelaide loss was just the second time all year they have lost by over 4 goals. They win everywhere, or at least compete everywhere. They have equaled the AFL record for most wins at different venues this season. This is an impressive team. They are well drilled, they have a good system, and we at the moment are stuttering. Since the bye, we have beaten 3 teams and 2 of them are barely even teams the way they are going, so it's clear to see why GWS are going into the game as favourites. I think looking at this team, the clear standout for me is their defence. They are so sound back there. That Port Adelaide game was the outlier in a very good season. It's not perfect. They have conceded 100 points or more 5 different times, but you look at the names there. Sam Taylor and Jack Buckley have formed a terrific duo. Taylor is, in my opinion, the best key defender in the league. Connor Iden is hugely underrated. Lockie Ash, Harry Himmelberg, Nick Haynes. There are some awesome players in the defence that will love the way we've entered our forward 50 recently. They can crush us. The midfield took a hit in the off-season, but still remains fairly strong. It just allowed players like Tom Green and Perryman to star. Kellen Ward is back in great nick, and then there is Josh Kelly and Stephen Canelio, terrific players. It's a strong midfield, even without Taranto and Hopper, at least compared to ours right now it's strong. They generally win territory battles through clearances or their midfield work rate. They surge through the middle. It's called the Orange Tsunami. You will probably hear a rather confusing siren going off before the game. That's their thing, and you know what? It's silly, but it works. This is a pressure-based side, pressure-based surging side. It's not just tokenistic. It generally plays to their game. Their weakness is their forward line. Toby Green is one of the best players in the comp. Aside from that, it's not really something we haven't faced before. Hogan and Riccardi lead the line. Callum Brown can act as a serviceable third. Lloyd and his pressure is good. Daniels will be back, but like I said, it's their weakness. They have scored less than us this season, so what we got is a pretty strong opposition that knows how to defend against poor attacks. They know how to win the territory battle. They know how to stay in the game even when they shouldn't. They did it against us back in round 4, so the question is, how do we win this game of footy? Well, the good news is Giants Stadium is not a fortress. They have played 11 games there this year and have only won 5. They have lost there to Richmond, to St Kilda, to Carlton before they were any good. They drop games, and that's the thing with GWS. They are hard to beat, but nowhere near impossible. They are below us on the ladder and we are struggling. So yes, they are the favourites, but the home ground advantage is not that big a reason why, in my opinion. We have already won there 4 or 5 times in the past. The dimensions aren't too unfamiliar, and the crowd, they don't really have a vocal fan base, so I imagine we will be just as loud there. We beat them last time in the middle. To be fair, they had some players out and we had players in at that time. Now it's the opposite. We have important mids on the sidelines potentially. They do not, but it shows how we won. We equaled the clearance game pretty much. We won the contested possessions, won the territory. The only reason it was so close is because we were shocking in front of goal. We kicked 11 goals and 22 behinds. We generally had them covered all day. I don't see us winning territory that easily this time. I think our opponents have come a long way since, but it shows that we don't have to win from defense like we have a lot this year. We can match them at the contest and gather territory from there. I think the key is getting on top of their defense. They are a side that can strangle opposition forward lines. You look at some of their scores they conceded early in the season in their wins. They are super low, but as Port showed, they can get overwhelmed. It starts from the midfield, but repeat inside 50 entries can be deadly as well. It means we need to see elite forward pressure like what we provided against the Roos in that last quarter. Matt Guelphy, Jai Menzies, Snelling, Stringer if he plays, even Wright and and Langford, that ball can't leave easily. We need to force Taylor and Co into mistakes through constant pressure, and the way to do that is by defending from attack. Our fringe forwards need to give everything they can in locking that ball inside 50. And from there, we really need to be efficient in entering. GWS have the second most intercepts in the comp. Taylor and Buckley are both in the top 15 in the comp for intercept possessions. Our best player is BZ2, who is ranked 26th. If we enter like we have recently, long high kicks directed towards Peter Wright, we are doomed to fail and play into their hands. I expect to see some chaos entering, which I wouldn't mind. If the ball comes to ground, it favours us and our smaller forward line. Anything in the air will favour them and their intercept markers. We need to match them at the contest pressure-wise around the ground. The Giants are a side that can thrive off heat. They seem to love a bit of argy-bargy. You look at the names: Tom Green, Callan Ward, Daniel Lloyd, Toby Green. They have some gutsy players that love getting in and under. It makes the roles of Hobbs in our team and other inside mids important. They can't get overrun and overworked because that will lead to GWS getting the upper hand. Our ruck duel will be crucial. Kieran Briggs is a big bully of a ruck. He is not a kind guy. He's not going to hold the door open for you. He's going to slam it in your face. So the fitness of Sam Draper is crucial. I think if we get on top in the ruck battle, it helps in our search for victory. The difference between Draper and Phillips against Briggs compared to Phillips and Bryan is huge. Bryan is going to struggle against a physical player like Briggs. I want Phillips to be our second ruck, able to play on their second, who is most likely Keith. So the fitness of Draper, like I said, is crucial, which I will touch on a bit later. And it is absolutely crucial that we play the dimensions correctly. It's not too dissimilar to Etihad Stadium over there, but it's a bit shorter and skinnier. It doesn't sound like too much of an issue, but when you saw how we played Kidinia, we clearly didn't do our homework and it killed us, so we need to play the ground accordingly. It is even more important with a team like us who play uncontested footy out of our back half. Our decision making needs to be on point for us to avoid pointless turnovers. But overall, I think the main factor in this game is maturity. Just what team will make the moment their own. This is a mini elimination final between two good to average teams. This is not going to be like Melbourne and Carlton. This could get scrappy, it could get ugly, it will be physical, hard fought. Both these teams are playing to keep their season alive. The season is on the line for both these teams. The most important players will be the leaders, Merritt and Heppel and Toby Green and Cornelio. These guys need to lift their teammates. Maturity is important in a game like this, so whoever is the more mature of the two teams will probably end up winning the game. On to some possible team news. For us, it's nothing but good news, maybe. We have 4 possible inclusions: Setterfield, Draper, Stringer and Caldwell. They all missed last round, all in line this week it seems. Stringer should be really close. He was close against the Roos. That would be a huge boost to our struggling forward line and take some pressure off Carl Langford and Peter Wright while giving us much needed physicality. For the Giants, small forwards Toby Bedford and Brent Daniels will come back from suspension, which is frustrating. Finn Callahan could return. Aside from that, not too much, I don't think. But now onto the prediction. Look, realistically, they are the better team right now. They are playing at home. They have stronger players available. All signs point towards the form team winning, which, basing off our last 2 games, weirdly is them, despite the fact they have lost back-to-back and we have won back-to-back. But they are playing better footy. It's a crucial game for finals for both teams, and this year they have been the more mature of the sides. I think GWS win this one. I think this is where our season ends. The Giants win by 18 points. 3 goals. Seems fair to me. But that is that video done. Preview done. Let me know down below who you think will win, who takes the chockies, who finishes the round in the top 8. Most likely. It's not even confirmed. But more importantly, really, who keeps their season alive. Enjoy the weekend, Bomber fans. Hopefully it's a good one. Subscribe if you are new. Go Dons.